So to mod guns like I'm gonna do in this video, you need the workbench level 1 in the hideout. So make sure you have that. Once you have workbench level 1, you get up this option right here, edit preset. So you click on that. And in here, you want this menu open. There's two numbers that's really important in this, and it's the vertical recoil and the ergonomics. Those are the only two numbers that you need to have an eye on. So when modding a gun, you want the ergonomics number to be as high as possible and the vertical recoil number to be as low as possible. So if the ergonomics is 100 and the recoil is like 20, which is unrealistic, then that's a really good gun. Let's say I've never modded a gun before, so I want a better handguard and a foregrip on it. So then I go here, and here I can see all the different foregrips I can choose from. So when I hover over another handguard like this, you can see the numbers change at the bottom left. So let's say this B10 handguard, I get -1 ergonomics and I get -2 vertical recoil. And then you can use this to compare to other handguards. So if I hover over the X47, then I get +6 ergonomics and -5 vertical recoil. So that means that this one is better than the B10. And I can tell you right now that the X47 is a pretty good budget handguard, because it has better stats than most other handguards in this menu. And it's pretty cheap as well. And then you can also go and click on filter by item. And this way you can check how much it actually costs. So this one costs 20k. When you found the handguard you like, then with some handguards you need a rail under. But on this handguard you don't need a rail. And some good budget foregrips is the RVG. I use the RVG all the time, early wipe, because it has pretty good stats and it's very cheap. But if you want meta handguards, then the SE5 is pretty good. And the RK2 is also pretty good. And the B25U is also pretty good. But all these are pretty expensive. But for this video, I'm going to use the RVG. After you have the handguard and the foregrip, you simply put on a scope. For early wipe, then I like to use the Cratchet. It's 14k trader, but it's usually around like 20k on the flea market, early wipe as well. Another scope I like to use to kill scavs and stuff is the compact. I always use the Boulder as a flashlight, so the Boulder Pro, and I put it on the right side of the gun. That way the flashlight doesn't cover up my screen when I'm walking around. For the front, I like to use the SRVV early wipe, because again, it is pretty cheap and it has pretty good stats as well. So let's compare it to the RRD 4C. This is like the meta unsuppressed. And as you can see, it has -5 recoil and it's not that much. For the pistol grip, I like to go with the Mo AK. This one I feel is very underrated and a lot of people don't use it. And they often goes pretty cheap on the flea market as well. So if we compare this to like the meta is like the AGS. This is like the best pistol grip. And as you can see, it only has 2 less ergonomics than the meta one. And if you go on the flea market, it only goes for 20k. 20-25k. It's not that expensive. You could put on a butt pad as well, but it most likely costs too much money if you haven't unlocked it from the trader yet. But now the most important thing when it comes to modding guns, you need to save this preset. So now that you have made a preset like this, now you need to save it. So you literally just type in a name on the top left. So I'm gonna type AKM cheap. And then you literally just click save as and then save. And now you save this build, so you can just click on the preset and it will automatically pop up. I go back in edit preset and now I click on open on the top left. And then you see the preset is saved right here. So you click on this and then open. And now you have your build again. And then you click assemble and you just purchase all. And then you escape and then assemble. And then you have built your gun. So that way you don't have to mod everything again. So you just do it once and then it's saved forever. And then this would be the meta version of the AKM. And it has 47 ergonomics and 74 recoil. This is my meta M4 and it has 42 ergonomics and 49 recoil. And I'm gonna compare this to like the full recoil build. So this is the full recoil build and it has 25 ergonomics and 45 recoil. So I lose only 4 recoil and I lose a lot more ergonomics when doing this build. And it's also way more expensive just because the handguard. Just the handguard alone is 76k. So that's why when I build the meta guns, then I go for a little bit cheaper version so I can balance out the ergonomics and the vertical recoil. Only 1% of my viewers are subscribed, and I really hope to change that. See ya.